Hi guys, welcome to the show. My name is Seb Ostrovich, aka the Voice of the People, and this is the Weightlifting House podcast. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Weightlifting House podcast with your hosts Seb Ostrovich, the Voice of the People, joined of course by the People's Coach, Mr. Pendlay, Mr. Glenn Pendlay. Glenn, now we've just struggled for the last few minutes because your internet went down. And I know we get a few people messaging in saying how they kind of find it funny how it seems like every single week something goes wrong with your technology and we have to kind of work out how to fix that before we do the podcast. So right. Tell the good people what on earth happened this time.
Well, it's pretty disgusting actually.
Okay.
Right now I am on an internet. And we recently had a extension put on so that my parents out in the business can actually use that internet still.
Oh, because their business isn't too far from your house. It's just literally just
like
over.
Feet. It's like 20 feet. And so they're out. Yeah. They can get on the same internet that I'm on.
Right.
And that shut the whole thing down. So I had to have a person come out and fix it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
The same person came out again yesterday. And now Sunday, I couldn't get up either. And so it shuts my internet in the house off and that out in the shop off and just can't. So I was thinking about to do my programming today, I'd have to go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I couldn't really do the podcast from McDonald's because it's too loud.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And
it just wouldn't work.
Eventually was able to go out in the shop and magically the internet extension that's out there worked. The one in here wouldn't work.
Huh.
But I signed in out there, got my email updated, and then was able to do the things necessary to...
Oh, of course, because you got locked out of Skype because you kept trying to log in.
Yeah, I changed the password and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the Skype password, everything. So that allowed me to get back on there in the house.
I can only imagine how frustrated you were when it told you that you'd locked yourself out of Skype.
Oh, I don't think you can, actually.
No.
I don't think you can.
No.
I'm lucky no one could hear me.
Yeah. I'd ask you to paint a picture, but it might be too much.
Yeah. You know?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
this is like an ongoing problem for me. You know, ongoing. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know.
Stupid.
I know. It's so strange. Have you seen there's a... it's funny because when you look at different generations and technology, I saw this advert and it was a little kid in the garden playing with an iPad and the parent comes out and says, like, get off your computer, and the kid turns and says, what's a computer? And it's so interesting that there's a certain like age of people now who don't even know what computers are. They know pads and laptops, but they don't really understand what a computer even is. And then you get, I mean, you've seen everything. You've seen the whole change from the first computer, well, not first computer, but first household computer, IBM computer to
I actually had
to the iPad.
A S80 when I was 14.
Okay, what did that do?
Was a computer I think that was really cheap enough for the average person to buy. It was like $300 or $400.
Yeah.
So it had zero anything.
I mean, you could probably write on it, and that's not much else.
When I started doing things with a computer that I had to save something, I bought a cheap little thing that allowed you to save the program or the document on a cassette.
Oh, I think I've heard you say this. Yeah. It's such a hassle. Yeah.
It is, and it stores like one sentence of text, you know? It's a tiny amount.
Yeah.
You know, I went from there to, I think I had a kid in my class named Dale Embers, whose parents were, I think, lawyers.
Yeah.
And he got the first IBM personal computer.
Oh, wow.
In my grade in school.
Yeah.
But then I went from there to having remember when internet connections were measured in baud?
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
So yeah, there was a 1200 baud or 1200 baud or something like that, and then you have a
Yeah.
2400 baud, a modem.
Yeah, modems, yeah.
Picture. If you want to download a picture,
That'll
it
take
would take
hours.
hours, six hours,
Yeah. It's
and then
crazy.
inside the picture,
Yeah.
the file. So it was just stupid. So I was in college at that time,
Yeah.
um, and so I kind of was old enough or young enough to have the first generation of actual personal computers.
Mhm.
Then actually be in college when it was just people were just getting on the internet. The internet wasn't really a thing yet.
Mhm.
So news groups, were the biggest thing on the internet.
Yeah.
News groups where people could go and discuss things like the forerunners of forums today.
Yeah, forums were like one of the first things, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then pictures, you could upload pictures,
Yeah.
and converse with people on forums.
I mean, I suppose forums were almost the first sort of form of social media in some way. The
Pretty
first kind
much.
of way where people could communally come and talk together and express their own
You're right.
opinions.
And then after that, you had things like Go Heavy.
Yeah, Go Heavy was
Yeah.
that big forum for a while.
It's an old
Yeah.
one. It's way back when.
I mean, I still remember going on the Pendlay forum.
Right.
Like right when I started getting into weightlifting, that was the big one for me. I can't even remember what it looks like now.
It's too bad, really, because that forum it kind of took over from Go Heavy.
Yeah. It did well.
People were getting off Go Heavy at the same time they're getting on Pendlay forum.
Yeah, and you could if that had carried on, you could have monetized that by now.
Yeah.
Like, you could be bringing in quite a good
Yeah, it was kind of
ad
funny
revenue.
because Brad Hess,
Yeah.
the owner of the driver, would not keep that forum up. Every time somebody said something he didn't like, he'd shut it down.
Yeah.
Every time anything had happened on that forum that he thought was bad for business, he shut it down.
Yeah.
I remember telling him, Brad, things bad for business is shutting the forum down.
Yeah, for sure.
And talk, people want to get on there and communicate, and if you shut it down all the time, nobody's going to get beyond it.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. People want a brand that's personable. They like things go wrong, but they want a brand where they can converse.
Yeah, they're going to associate Muscle Driver with the person that's keeping them from conversing about weightlifting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, I mean, anything that Brad's touched was a bad idea, basically.
Yeah.
He screwed everything up. He screwed everything.
Yeah. What I think's interesting with technology is we've seen such a crazy increase from even 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's unbelievable what's happened, but I still think that we're almost we've just passed the starting line. I can't even imagine in 10 years the level of technology that we're going to be seeing. I mean, I think televisions will basically be gone. I think that form of media is almost entirely ending. I think virtual reality is going to be...
I don't think TVs are going to be done. I don't think TVs are going to be gone.
You don't?
They'd be a TV,
yeah.
But instead of just having a channel, like watch NBC.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's going to be all on demand.
Yes, definitely. You're going
to
be
won't
all
be live television.
What time of the day?
Yeah. The whole time about having to be at the television at a certain time to watch your show, that's ending. That's almost ended.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, I think virtual reality is going to be a big thing. I already kind of trying to think, is there any way that weightlifting can benefit from that? And other than maybe almost buying a ticket to the Olympics and watching it in the comfort of your own home in VR, I can't really think of a way that that's going to make much of a difference. But I think VR is going to be a big thing.
What's going to be the sticking point and all that stuff is going to be what the human mind can keep up with.
Okay.
Because my old human mind is already reaching its limit.
Yeah.
When people approach me they ask me a question on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, etc., and email. And I'm like, I can't keep up with it. You have the same person ask me one thing on Twitter, one thing on Instagram, one thing on Messenger, and it's just... And one thing I always tell people, just email me.
Yeah.
My email's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I've never tried to keep it a secret. So I really get frustrated with people who are messaging me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Why would you
It's funny you say that because, I mean, I know you're like that, but I see the subtleties and the subtle differences of conversing on different platforms. And I speak differently, and I speak about different topics if I'm on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or email. Like it is a little bit different. I don't
agree
know
with you.
why it's different, but it is. If I'm talking on Snapchat with people, normally I've just taken a snap of my training or something, and we're just talking more real life, like, well, this training session. Like, I talk to people on the Pendlay Ward quite a lot on there, and I post a video that I'm doing, like, my squats, and they'll say, I'm just doing the RDLs now, and we'll just talk about the session. Whereas I would never do that on Instagram. Instagram will be about
No.
talking about, oh, do you remember the 1988 games and blah, blah, blah.
Right. Right.
And then email is more like business stuff, I guess. But I know
Well,
you
yeah,
like just channeling it all in one place.
that whole way of thinking is things that people that are your age
Yeah,
or even younger, they're going to grow up with. You have to grow up with that. You have to
yeah,
grow up with it.
absolutely, yeah,
I have no capability whatsoever of distinguishing how I speak or present things on Instagram versus Facebook
yeah,
versus email versus whatever. I
absolutely.
just don't.
No,
I think if people want to get in touch with me, email me.
yeah,
That's easy.
yeah,
And that's the way it is.
yeah,
That's the way it is. I have, as you know, you have helped me out immensely on Instagram because I just don't understand that at all.
yeah, yeah,
Dustin is also you know him. Talking about there.
yeah, yeah.
Helped me
Dustin's helping a
a
lot. Yeah,
putting things up on Instagram because I just can't seem to do that
yeah,
correctly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he's
He's doing a
put
good
up
job.
what goes up on my Instagram.
Yeah,
He's a cool guy.
yeah,
He's
he
a
is.
very,
Yeah.
and so I'm very thankful that I met him.
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So that all is good. I just passed another milestone on Instagram today. I'm at 11.5 instead of 11.3 or something. I just they update you when you
Yeah, yeah,
pass.
yeah, yeah.
So that's all
That's
going
good.
well,
Yeah, that's good.
and I'm thankful that he's around to help out with that. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah,
I just don't get it. I think if people want to email me, email
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
That's true. Yeah,
Hide or don't be. I don't. Hide's not quite the right word. It's so difficult to understand when you're getting messages from 5 different directions.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or
That's
at least
true.
for me it is. For me it is. I just want things simple.
Yeah.
Email is simple.
The funny thing is, the one platform that I am most excited when I get when I get a message, is email, because normally it's like either someone who listens to the podcast who's writing like a long message about training and wanting to understand something, or it's a message about some kind of business like t-shirts or bars, which is always exciting. It's almost like the most serious things come from there, and then more relaxed weightlifting conversation comes elsewhere. So I get a little, I don't know, I enjoy all of them.
I can see that. I kind of understand that. But at the same time, if I was ever going to seriously understand that, I'd have been born quite a bit earlier or later.
I think I was born like the perfect year. Like when internet became kind of democratized and everyone started going on it. That was when I was like 10 years old maybe. And I just grew with it as my brain grew up. So did the internet. So I've just stayed along with it the whole time.
But some people, we're getting to the end, I think, of how many sources of information, how much information, period, people can actually assimilate and use.
Yeah.
In weightlifting, even now, today, when I was 20,
yeah,
you had
there wasn't enough.
2 or 3 sources of information.
Yeah.
It was difficult to find. Difficult to find.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest reason I didn't get involved in weightlifting until much later in life.
Yeah, yeah.
Just couldn't find anything about it. And so now we have almost too much information. You can't decide what to pay attention to and what to dismiss.
Yeah.
So there'll always be, I think, a few sources that people pay attention to. Everybody's going to be fighting to be those sources.
Yeah. I think
Same thing.
yeah, I think the medium of writing, I think articles are decreasing somewhat. I used to spend hours reading articles on weightlifting, and so did everyone. I remember everyone would always read articles on weightlifting, like 2-3 years ago. I don't really see that anymore. People don't seem to read articles as much. They tend to consume that information via either video or audio, which is why I think the podcast is so good, because it's so easy to listen to. You can do it, listen to it whatever you're doing. But I think sitting down, because people are so used to having this constant stream, like a feed of information like you have on social media, people find it hard to sit down and for 15 or 20 minutes read an article without other bits of stimulation coming in. It's all very strange.
I'm right about that.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
Mm.
I mean, it's like I have when I am talking to you now,
Yeah.
have the TV on mute in the background, but I muted it, but I'm not really watching it, but it's on, so I know what's going on in the world, and so I'm kind of been involved in that myself. You know, I don't really pay attention to it, but it's always there, so I know in a second if there's some new news story or something like that coming up on the feed. You know,
well, that's one of the reasons I like the podcast. It's one of the few times I think where there is only one thing that I'm completely trying to pay attention to, and I can just immerse myself into a conversation on weightlifting. I mean, that's the reason I listened to podcasts before we did this one, is because I could just completely immerse myself into it, and I wouldn't be doing other things at the same time. So I like the podcast for that reason. It's one of the many reasons, but I like just being able to drop everything, drop my food, drop my emails that I'm meant to be writing, programs that I'm meant to be writing. I'm just talking about weightlifting. That's what I enjoy, you know. It's fun. Yeah. Actually, whilst I remember, I'm going to say this. I have a new load of YB Normal t-shirts all turned up a few days ago. So if you have not seen my social media postings, you can pick up a YB Normal t-shirt on the website weightliftinghouse.com. That's my little plug there, Glenn. I hope that's all right.
How many of those shirts are you going to sell, all in all? I know you sold like 100 of them first.
Yeah.
So is this the second 100 that came in, or third 100?
No, so I sold 100, and then I sold 40, and now I've ordered 50, and I've sold 10 so far. So I've sold exactly 150 t-shirts.
So when is this going to slow down?
I mean, the first week, that was the crazy week.
Right.
And then after that, it's just, I don't know, every now and then. If I start posting about it, I might sell one or two. If I don't, I get one every now and then. But I figured I might as well order 50, and even if I don't sell them all for a couple of months, they'll eventually go. People will eventually buy them, and I'll get some more in. So I've also put in I've been speaking to a guy about making some pure Weightlifting House t-shirts, which I'm looking forward to. So it's just going to have Weightlifting House on the front. That's kind of what I'm almost most excited about, because that will be the first, along with the bars, that will be the first just Weightlifting House branded anything. So that's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to those coming in. So I imagine a couple of weeks.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, should be good. It should be good, yeah. So, Glenn, it's been 20 minutes. Shall we talk about the topic we want to talk about?
I knew we'd have to start at some point.
I know. It's almost disappointing. I love just talking about our own views on what's happening in the world at this point, but this is a weightlifting podcast, so, you know, that's what we do.
That's what we claim anyways.
Yeah, it's in the name. So we want to talk about a few things. One of them is when you're, Glenn, correct me if I'm wrong here, but one of the topics is when you're correcting a lifter or analyzing a lifter, there's a certain sequence in which problems need to be fixed. That's one of the topics. The other one is, like, how long does it actually take to get good and proficient at some of these movements? So those are the two topics we want to cover. We're going to start off with this whole sequence of where to start and where to finish when analyzing or correcting a movement. Glenn, what is the proper sequence?
Well, what do you think? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
This is not, I mean, seriously. You know, I've heard and I believe there's two ways to approach that, two kind of ways to think about it.
Yeah.
One thing is the thing that happens first in the lift, you correct first.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot of merit.
And by the first thing that happens, you mean the first mistake you see?
Well, yeah, you know, and that would mean pull off the floor, which is what happens first.
Yeah.
I kind of buy into that a little bit, a lot actually.
Mm-hmm.
If you screw up the pull off the floor, if you jerk it off the floor, you effectively made everything after that wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That just is no getting around that.
Yeah.
Because that's how it happens.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Really, I mean, you've heard me say this at camps and everything before a lot of times. I mean, the first thing is don't jerk the bar off the floor.
Yeah.
You know, you pull off the floor in a smooth, under control fashion.
I can't get people to pull it slow enough sometimes. Not weightlifters. These are the CrossFitters that I coach. I love them all. They're great. They love it, but they can't pull it slowly off the floor. It's not even slowly. They can't there's no acceleration. It's just go. And you tell them to slow down, and they're so used, I think, to just activating everything all at once. They just yank the bar. It's crazy.
And that's one of the hardest first steps in teaching them how to lift correctly.
Yeah.
Is to make them pull slowly off the floor.
Yeah.
Can't do that. You're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, you can make them understand how to not pull all out instantly.
Yeah.
Such a way that screws what they're doing up to no end. You know.
So I think what might be interesting is if you tell me sort of the categories, because I can't remember what order you put them in. If you tell me the things in any order, I'll explain what I would do in order, and then you tell me what you have found over the years to be the best way.
Well, I always say that I like to start with positions.
Oh, okay. You're just going to say, all right,
that's
okay, you go.
Well, that's why I teach the way I do.
Yeah.
Is that we actually go from the hip,
Yeah.
and then from the knee, and then from the floor. And I think that works because if you start at the hip,
Yeah.
there's a limited number of things you can do wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a little dip, and then explosion and catch.
I mean, I'm going to be brutally honest with you right now, Glenn. I had a guy for the first time yesterday. He'd never lifted weights, and he'd booked in for a session to train with me and learn how to do the snatch. I basically ripped off your video, kind of verbatim. I just said, we're going to start at position 1. I could literally hear you in the video saying, jump and catch. And I just said to him, jump and catch. I went through position 1, 2, 3, and by the end of it, he was snatching 30 kilos perfectly, and it was a good session. But I found your way of doing it to be one of the easier ways. I'm not convinced that it's the best way yet, but I've not found anything better.
Right. It works,
Yeah.
and that's all that's needed is to work because you know what? Once you get above the first 3 or 4 workouts, the person's going to have kind of their technique set.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the way the human body works.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you've done something for 1 or 2 workouts in a certain way, now you've got to have to unlearn if it's wrong.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is, 3 years from now, when you've trained for however long and you've learned this way, you try to change it. When it's heavy, when it gets max weight, you're always going to revert back to what you learned first.
Yeah.
Where you're most comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important to just really start slow. You know, if in doubt, go slower.
Yeah.
You know, if in doubt.
I kept saying that to him yesterday. He's just going crazy fast at the hip and the contact. I said you can slow this down. You can move less than half the speed you're moving now. Like I'm not worried at all about how quickly you're going to get under a 20 kilo bar. Like this is irrelevant. This is session 1. I just want to make sure that we're moving right. I want you to lean over the bar. I want your knees going back. I want you to be able to push your knees back forward and extend upwards. I don't want you extending back too much. Like we just worked around making him move perfectly, and then I can start worrying about how quickly he does it.
Right.
Which I assume is where you're going to lead to.
When you're trying to correct people,
Yeah.
the first thing to correct is positions.
Yeah.
The first thing, to have the positions right, there's like I don't know what percentage, but it's like a 90% chance that they're going to do things in between the positions correctly.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to correct every single movement the whole way. They're pulling it right off the floor.
Yeah.
They're pulling it right. Their position's right off the knee, and their position at the hip is right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of things they can do wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So if you start by teaching them correct position, correct body position at the hip, the correct body position at the knee, the correct body position off the floor,
Yeah.
the correct start position, you're now narrowed down the amount of things they can do wrong.
Yeah.
Very much narrowed that down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so, you know, I think that's in my opinion, you know, you say you're not sure if it's the perfect way, but like you said, it's the best way that I found too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best way that I found to do it too.
You know, a way that I've been wanting to try, but I because I haven't done it, I almost feel like it would be rude to try it on someone because I know that I have a better way. But one of the ways I'd like to do it is just say, here's the bar. Like, I want to make sure they can do an overhead squat and everything. Then I want to see if I can make them start at the bottom and say, all I want you to do is pull the bar as straight as you can. And just see if they do it right. And I don't know if they would. But instead of worrying about position 1, then lean over, position 2, then bend your knees and keep your back angle, position 3, I wonder if they can just pull the bar straight. And if that would do it. I don't know if you've had any experience trying it like that. But I wonder if there's a way to simplify it so much that it just becomes pull the bar straight and go under.
Yeah, I think I have tried that before, and what you
Doesn't
find
work.
is that what I found is that it is not bad. It's
Yeah.
not bad. But inevitably, they will leave out the
Pushing the knees
reposition,
back. Yeah.
you know, or yeah, pushing the knees back. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll leave out some things that
Right.
are quite correct, and
Yeah.
so then the struggle is to get them to do those things without screwing up the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of always going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
But I just think it's better to start off with positions, make
Uh-huh.
sure that the 3 or 4 positions that are relevant are correct,
Uh-huh.
and then kind of go into just discussion and movement.
Yeah.
But I always say the positions are first. That's the first thing to coach.
Mm.
Make sure the correct positions.
Yeah.
I really believe that, actually. I believe that is the best way, actually.
So once you've got an athlete whose positions are nice, what do you move on to?
Next thing to worry about is the rhythm of the lift.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
this is the fact that the lift gets faster as it goes.
Yeah.
That's all that means.
Okay.
So the pull from the knee to the hip is faster than the pull off the floor.
Yeah.
The pull from the hip is faster yet.
Yeah.
The going under part is the fastest part.
Yeah. The tempo of the lifting, yeah.
Right. But over the whole lift never slows down. It always goes faster.
Yeah.
If you can do that and hit positions, you're golden.
Mm.
You're golden.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What happens with almost everybody, like you kind of just alluded to, is that you teach them positions, then you say, now do the lift, and they always go too fast.
Yeah, 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 always.
That going too fast means they pull too fast off the floor, so that they have to slow down
Mm.
during the repositioning phase.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
But from the knees to the hip has a big slowdown in it, has
Yeah.
a big increase in acceleration.
Yeah.
Or decrease in velocity, actually. And so you don't want that. You got to go slow enough from the floor to the knee that the lift can continue to increase in speed from the knee to the hip.
Yeah.
And I've actually argued with Zygmunt about this before, and he says, well, the lift does actually slow down a little bit from when you reposition the knees. And I said, well,
Okay.
Zygmunt, you don't want it to.
No.
You're trying to make it not slow down. You're trying to reposition the knees
Yeah.
with letting the bar actually slow down.
Yeah, you don't want
So-
to accept the fact that it might happen and therefore let it be a thing. You want to avoid it as much as you can, I imagine.
Acceleration will slow,
Yeah.
have a slower rate of acceleration, but you don't want the bar speed actually slow.
Yeah.
You're trying to fight that at all costs. You're trying to go as fast as possible.
Mm.
Keep it moving without slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Digman and I have discussed that multiple times over breakfast or in his office at the OTC or wherever. But he maintains that sometimes the bar does slow
Yeah.
when you're pushing knees forward. And yes, that happens, but I kind of maintain that it's something you fight against. You don't want it to happen. You want
Yeah,
it to
I
as
do
little
see it in
as
some lifters, but
exactly as little as possible. Ideal world, none at all.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean,
but-
do you do because yesterday when it's interesting hearing you say this because I'm thinking back to this coaching session I had yesterday, and I got the guy to do the movement right, and then I made him do some pulls that were like tempo pulls, and I made him pause in positions and be slower at certain positions just to try and make sure that his rhythm and speed was a bit better. So it's interesting that you kind of do something similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well, and then once you got the rhythm done, you can start worrying about speeding the bar up to a speed at which approximates what you would be able to use with a 60, 70, 80% lift.
Right.
Now that kind of takes a while. That
Yeah.
takes a while.
Yeah.
And so that's a long process there. To first do the positions perfectly, second do the rhythm of the lift perfectly, which means you got to slow down and start for most people to start very, very slow so that you can continue to increase the speed throughout the lift.
Mm.
If you're pulling as fast as you can off the floor, you're not going to increase the speed on the second pull.
Yeah.
So you got to go slow enough off the floor
Mm-hmm.
that the speed increases elsewhere during the lift.
Yeah.
So once you've done that, then the process is just starting to slowly ramp the speed up
Mm-hmm.
until you're doing basically the same speed at the end that you're going to have on a PR lift.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a long process. And then when you've done all that, now you start to add weight.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's the last thing.
Yeah, I just want to interject in saying that last thing you said about I can't quite remember exactly what you said. Something about making it so it's the same as a PR weight. What was it exactly that you said?
Um, I think that's what I said.
Yeah, so
You
that's
want the
something.
speed to be like
Hmm.
the speed would be if you're doing a max lift.
Okay, so that's it. So I've been trying to get some of my CrossFitters. Again, I never really have to do this in my weightlifters, but my CrossFitters to have a similar idea, but it's a different part of the lift. So generally, they all pull the bar way too high. And it's funny, with some of my weightlifters, I tell them to try and pull the bar higher because they just rush too much and they don't pull it enough. But generally, with my CrossFitters, I say you're pulling the bar too high. So
Right.
when you're doing a snatch, the bar never needs to get any higher than your sternum. And so I say to them, if you do that with the bar 30, 40, 50 kilos and it only reaches your sternum, you're going to get used to you're going to get used to it. So when you're at the point where the bar does only reach the sternum and it can no longer go higher, it's not a new movement to you. It's not in a different position. You're used to it because every single lift up to that point has been the same height, same speed, same everything for that max attempt. So we just took, I don't know, a 5 minute break there because once again, as we complained about earlier in the episode, Glenn's internet just died. But we have Glenn back, and the last thing I was saying, Glenn, was about um, it was something to do with speed in the lifts, and we were just about to move on. No, it was about rhythm and tempo, and we were just
Right.
about to move on to strength, being like that final factor that that you develop that quality once you've developed the other ones. But I think it's worth sort of mentioning before that is that we're not saying that strength is the least important quality of the four. In fact, I think it's very easy to argue that it's the most important quality of the four, but it's possibly the last one to learn
Right.
when you're looking to have a long, fruitful career.
Well, when you're looking to be as efficient as you can be,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you want to be able to clean and jerk 200 kilos based on a 250 kilo back squat. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
you don't want to be clean jerking 200 kilos based on a 600-pound back squat.
Mhm.
Of course, that happens to some people, but we don't want that. We
No.
want to be able to jerk as much as possible
Yeah,
with the least amount of strength.
yeah, yeah.
And then you get strong after you've developed that quality, and then you lift big weights.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean that 200 kilo clean and jerk with a 250 back squat. That is the coveted 80% clean and jerk to back squat ratio that people are after, which is it's tough to do. I think people always talk about snatching 60% of your back squat. That has always been pretty easy for me. 60% of my back squat is not a hard weight to snatch, but the 80% to clean and jerk, that's where it gets a whole lot more difficult. I find. Um,
Yes.
it just takes so much out of you, especially because, like you're saying, I mean, you've got to be so efficient at that point that's
The
often
absolute
a
numbers,
tough
the
weight
absolute
to
numbers
squat.
don't really matter. It's just that we want to be able to lift as much as possible
Hmm.
with whatever we have.
Yeah,
That's the goal.
yeah,
And so that's what you're after.
yeah. I was literally as I lost you, I was on my phone and I was watching a video which I'm just about to upload of Yuri Vardanian clean and jerking 224 kilos, weighing 82.5 kilos, and I mean that is a lift where you can see that he is clean and jerking a substantially high percentage of his back squat.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's everything is perfect. He's so fast, the pull is so straight. He can barely stand up with it. I don't understand why he's so good at jerking it, but he's able to do that. But I mean, that's what you're looking for. I know it's hard to compare yourself to the second highest Sinclair ever, but that's what we're kind of shooting for, is that efficiency in lifting.
Right.
Yeah,
That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal,
yeah,
basically.
he is the gold standard, really.
Right.
I think interesting is that um, I think early on when you're trying to improve an athlete's lifting, I think I can see that as being the definite order of qualities you want to address. So it's
Right.
positions, it's uh,
Rhythm.
tempo and rhythm,
Yep.
it's speed, and then it's strength. But later on, when you've got an athlete who knows how to move, if there are technical breakdowns, I am a big believer in the fact that normally the way to correct that form breakdown is by a strength
Getting stronger.
exercise.
Getting
Yeah.
stronger.
Yeah, not necessarily globally, although that can help, but just if someone can't keep their chest up or they can't get their knees back, you can very easily, or not easily, but you can very quickly kind of assess what the muscle is that's weak, and then you start correcting these technical errors with
In
additional strength work.
In the long run, it
Yeah.
all boils down to strength.
Yeah.
You know, in the long run.
Yeah.
But that's assuming you did everything else right. I mean, then the strength becomes a limiting factor.
Yeah.
Most big lifters, most very, very big, good lifters lift high weights
Mm-hmm.
is the limiting factor.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right there. Yeah. You know, Glenn, I hear you are going to the Arnold. This suddenly just popped into my head. I saw this on the Pendling Wad group. You mentioned you're going to the Arnold. It must be
Yes,
3 or 4 years since you've been to the Arnold?
I don't think it's been 4.
No.
Wait a second. Maybe it has.
Yeah.
I was there for like 10 years in a row. Like from the first ever one till, like the first 10 I was at.
Yeah.
And then I had the stroke, obviously, and lost a couple years to do that. And I didn't go last year I just didn't have any lift in it. And but I'm going this year. I got like 4 guys lifting.
That's cool.
2 or 3 that should do very good.
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
From the Penley group.
Yeah.
He's going. He should do great. Sal.
He'll do very well.
He'll do good.
Yeah.
Although I don't quite know what weight class he's in presently. He's trying to be 90.
He is. Yeah.
He's going to snatch 140 and clean jerk 180.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Something close to that.
He snatched I want to say he snatched 143 the other day.
Could be true. Be true.
Yeah. Weighing about 98, I think.
Yeah. So that's why I don't know if he's going 94.
Yeah.
But if he goes 94, his snatches and clean jerks are going to be really competitive.
Oh, for
he's
sure.
A very lifter.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But if he goes 105, it won't be quite as top notch, but he's still a great lifter. Still a great.
Yeah.
Who should be. He'll be in the top 3 nationally. I think for sure. I mean, he's going to be whichever way it goes to.
Yeah.
If he stops at 90 or starts at 105, he'll lift more weight.
Yeah.
94, he'll lift a little less weight, but he'll still be competitive.
Yeah.
I think one of the top finishers in nationals.
Yeah. I mean, if he sticks with it, I can see that.
The really good thing about him is he's consistent.
Yeah.
I love lifters like Sal who are consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he snatches 140, he's going to hit 140 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, having miss is rare.
Yeah.
I love the way he lifts.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way he lifts.
I really want to go to the Arnold. I'm not going to be able to, but one thing that I have been thinking about is when I go out to the camp next time, I'm thinking about elongating it. And I have a friend, I might have mentioned him before on the podcast. He used to intern at Westside. Right. And I have this idea that I literally just thought of yesterday, but I want to go to Westside and video the entire experience and say to Louis, I will do everything you tell me for a week, and film every workout and maybe get a podcast with him and everything. I don't know if that's something I'm going to end up doing, or if I'd rather end up traveling to other weightlifting gyms. But I just think that could be quite a fun idea.
That would be fun. Be fun.
We'll see.
It would be great. Yeah. And there's a couple of guys who live in Columbus.
Yeah.
That are on the WAD.
Yeah.
Who I think are probably going to meet up with when I'm out there.
Yeah, I saw that as well. That sounds good.
Yeah. Gibson is on the Pendling Wad.
Yeah, Josh and
he's
Jordan. Yeah.
They're both good lifters.
Yeah.
Gibson, very good lifter.
Oh, he moves great.
Jordan's kind of a loudmouth, but I think he can back it up. He's doing well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he clean and jerked 145 for a triple the other day. That's strong.
That ain't bad.
No, he'll clean and jerk 170. Well, over 170 by the end of the cycle. I mean, he did 168. I think he'll hit like 75 most likely by the end of the cycle. I think he'll do
150 for a triple.
Yeah.
That's jerking all 3. That's tough.
Yeah, clean jerk.
This week. I think he'll do 150 for triple this week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he might actually, yeah. And then it'll be interesting when you let everyone go and kind of hit these RMs, as you said, on week 4. That's the one that I'm looking forward to. I mean, Glenn, let's just take a pause to talk about how disgusting the program is for this week. I'd predicted what you were going to put as the percentages, but you threw a spanner in the works and you took them up even higher than I thought. 83% for a set of 5. I mean, the good thing is, I'm going to make, I am convinced that I'm going to make it. but it's going to be awful.
It will. It
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
I'm kind of almost need to kind of bitch at some people on the Pendlay WOD right now because I've noticed that. Have you noticed how long those lifts
Yeah,
have
some
been
people.
taking?
Yeah. Yeah.
There are a few people out there who are turning a one set of 5 into a 2 or 3 minute long
Yeah.
endurance session.
Yeah.
It's like they're lifting. They're turning into an EMOM.
Yeah. 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 And it's proper. Like
This EMOM
it's. Yeah, it
one rep
really
every
is a
second.
long rest. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, my benefit is I put my straps on when I snatch, and I don't take them off. So like once I brought the bar down, I'm lifting it within a second or two again. And I find it easier. Like I can produce more work for like 20 seconds and get it done. I'd rather
Right.
do that, and then I can sit down for 5 minutes and then spend
That's
3
the-
minutes
That's the
plagued
best
by
part.
it.
Sitting down part at the end.
It is, yeah. It helps
Right.
a lot. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this workout this week is tough. I think next week will be easier
Yeah.
because everyone's just doing one set. You know,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to,
so it'll
especially
be a
with my
lot lower
competition.
volume.
Yeah.
But this week is going to be tough, and the percentages are high.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I was going to miss this week. Everyone's going to miss. So
Yeah.
we know that starting out.
Yeah.
We know that. So don't feel bad if you miss your third rep or miss your fourth rep
Mm.
or just can't hit a set of 5 on the third set.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah. For
If
sure.
you could hit every single rep, I wouldn't be doing my job to challenge you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're going to miss. And that kind of, we didn't plan on talking about this, but that kind of brings up a whole other topic. In there are a lot of people that are just kind of convinced that I'm not going to name names here, but if they're having trouble making all the reps,
Mm-hmm.
some reps are not going to be good. They're going to be ragged.
Yeah.
Like a fourth rep on a set of 5. And so they're going too heavy and they're going to get hurt and everything, bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this.
All right. Lay it out for the people.
Least likely time to get hurt is on a set of 4 or 5 on your last rep. You're tired by then, tired. Your body's not able to produce the kind of force that it could on a rep 1. Unlikely to get hurt on the third or fourth rep.
Yeah.
You're tired.
So you think that it's 100% for 1, you're likely to get hurt on a snatch more than you would on the 5th rep of a 70% set of 5?
I think you're more likely.
Yeah.
But this reminds me of something that I'm going to have Destin put up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Louis Simmons told me once. I'm sure he said this in a podcast at one point in time or something. Actually mentioned it to me when I was at Westside a couple years ago. He said any exercise that is perfectly safe is probably also perfectly useless.
Yeah.
And
I'm racking my brain now.
If the snatch if you could figure out a way to snatch that's perfectly safe, has no chance of it, something's kind of almost wrong,
Yeah.
If you lift a heavy weight over your head, there is a chance it could be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. You can't deny it.
No.
So a lot of people, if they want to convince others that lifting is a super, super, super safe sport, which if you look at the numbers, it is pretty safe.
Yeah.
Much safer than other sports.
Yeah.
Much safer than football or soccer or volleyball.
Yeah, for sure.
But yet, safer than cross-country running. But there's always a risk. When you throw a big heavy weight over your head, there's a chance that something's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You're going to get injured.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to modify weightlifting in a way that makes it perfectly safe. I'm going to see it to be fun. There's a certain amount, something in us, I think, that likes risk.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
We like to put ourselves on line.
Yeah.
And that's part and parcel of weightlifting.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason lifting a huge weight over your head is fun.
Yeah.
It's a risk. Yes, it is, of course.
It's knowing that you made a weight and you came this close to potentially getting yourself hurt or something going wrong, but you took the shot and you made it. And it's that rush that you get that makes you want to keep doing it. Yeah.
And so, to get back to the topic we were just talking about, the form breakdown on a set of 5, I think it's kind of dumb to worry about that all that much because if you're training correctly, the 5th rep, of course, form's going to get ragged. Of course.
Yeah.
Ideally, my phone's ringing.
Yeah, I see. I hear it.
Yep. Ideally, you just did 3 or 4 perfect reps,
Yeah.
or close to perfect. Last one was ragged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you know what? If you never have a ragged rep, you're not pushing yourself enough to get yourself stronger.
Mm.
How do you get stronger if you never have a ragged rep?
Yeah.
I mean, how? I
Yeah.
don't know how.
No, nor do I. I mean, you know what? I like what you're saying here is, and it kind of links back to what we were saying earlier about trying to make all the reps feel like 100%. But that fifth rep, I pull the bar so low. At least this is how it feels. I have no idea how I'm going to get under it, but I do. And it's almost
Right.
like I'm able to train the quality of lifting a heavy weight in the same way that you see videos of Klokov doing jerks when he's 14 years old and he puts the plates like right on the end of the collars so he has the oscillation of a 200 kilo bar. He's learning
Right.
what it's going to be like when he does it. And that's how that fifth rep feels. Like, it's amazing how heavy it is. Or not even
Yes.
heavy. It's amazing how you just can't move it high. Like, it doesn't pop off your hips. And you get under
No.
it, and I feel like I'm catching things as deep as I would a PR. And that's what I quite like. You know, when I do an EMOM at 80%, I'm never buried by anything. It's all a bit too perfect sometimes. But when you do a set of 5, it's amazing what you get yourself under. And it's almost preparing you for when the time comes in 6 weeks to hit that PR and set a new personal record.
And, the sets of 5 are something that we do.
Mm.
But, and the whole time you've been on the Pendlay WOD,
Yeah.
we've done 5, 3 weeks? 4 weeks? Maybe? 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, well, this is the 3rd week coming up, yeah.
So that's been 18 months, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so this is not something we do all the time.
God, no.
It's not normal.
No.
It's something we go and do once in a while.
Yeah.
And in that 3 weeks, there's going to be a week like this week where you're going to make a couple of ragged reps.
Yeah.
In the totality of training,
Mm-hmm.
totality of a whole year of training or 18 months of training,
Yeah.
how much does 1 or 2 reps mean, really?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And so I think people that are really worried about their form getting ragged,
Yeah.
because they do the 5th rep was kind of ugly,
Mm.
you have to push yourself to the point where the 5th rep is ugly
Yeah.
to get stronger.
Mm.
You're going to make yourself adapt to training if
Yeah.
the reps ever get ugly.
I tell you
You
what,
know,
some of my squats were
too
ugly yesterday.
You don't want them to be too ugly too often.
Mm-hmm.
But they never get to that point. You're wasting your time.
Yeah. Yeah, I found yesterday, by the time I did my squats yesterday, I had almost no idea how I was going to do them. They felt so much more extraordinarily difficult in the past few weeks.
Right.
But I did manage every rep, and I was very pleased with that. And
You know what? This last week was a hard squatting sessions
yeah.
because you did, how many, was there 6 sets of 3?
6 sets of 3 at 95% of my 3 rep max.
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
difficult.
Yeah.
And so, this week upcomingly, there's, I think, 4 sets.
Yeah, 4 sets of 3, yeah.
Okay. The next week there's going to be 2 sets.
That'll be nice. Yeah.
So be heavy, but there's only 2 sets.
Yeah.
But 6 sets workout is, in this scheme of things,
Mm.
6 of 3 is the hardest workout with that percentage.
Yeah.
If you get through that, the rest of the cycle is going to be golden.
Yeah. I tell you, one of the things which I find most exciting about this program is because before I went on the camp, I hadn't been able to train properly, and I was doing lunges and all this boring stuff. And now that I'm back, I'm doing these pulls again. I know everyone else has already been through and experienced this, but pulls are feeling light. Not like my pulls at 110% on the snatch don't feel daunting.
Right.
On the cleans, they were awful because I'd done so much. We'd already done sets of 5 on the snatch and a 5x5 clean, and then I was doing jerks and then pulls. But the pulls on the cleans hurt, but the snatches actually feel pretty nice. And I'm excited for the point where we're allowed to cut loose a little bit, as we've seen some people on the team do already. I don't know how they're doing it, but a few of the guys have been cutting loose and just going for rep PRs or even heavy singles sometimes. But
you know what? That on Wednesday of this upcoming week, when we have a set of 5 on the clean,
yeah,
at 83%,
yeah,
I'd be surprised if more than a few people make that.
I'll make that. I feel
I'm
convinced
sure
of that.
you will.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if a lot of people do, though.
Yeah,
That's a thing with which it's going to be very, very tough.
Yeah. I feel to some extent as though I'm cheating the system because I'm working off like 92% of my best ever because I'm not at my best ever, and because I'm able
Right.
to progress quicker than everyone else because I'm starting off lower than I've been before. I feel like I'm almost progressing with the program. As the program adds weight, that's where I naturally am feeling. So, my 83% really is 78%-ish if I look at my all-time kind of numbers. So,
Right. I
um,
got you.
but they're hard. They are hard, and I'll do my
Yep, they're
best.
not easy.
No,
Not easy.
not
What
at
was the
all.
other topic we were going to talk about today?
We were going to talk about how long you think it takes. I think you've been speaking to some people who have different ideas about how long it's going to take them to get good at snatching. I don't know if you want to talk about how long it'll take to move well or to lift well, but it was kind of to do with that, just time scale.
I think it's just how long your lifts are going to keep going up by efficiency and movement pattern alone.
All right.
So
Okay.
obviously, when you're a beginner,
Yeah.
the first, at first 50% of your gains or more than that probably are your first month of training. Most of the increases are from efficiency. You're learning how to lift better. That comes very quickly at first.
Yeah.
And then it slows down.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I think people underestimate is how much of your initial gains are from neural factors.
Yeah.
They think, well, I just got a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't really get stronger. They just got better at the movement. They got better at more skilled.
That's such a strange concept for people to think about.
Yeah.
When your squat goes up and you're saying that you haven't gotten stronger. It's so strange. But I mean, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't think it really applies all that much to squat.
No. Okay.
But
It's
on
the snatch. Yeah.
Plain and jerk is a different situation.
Yeah.
You know, those require a lot of neural learning to happen before you're efficient at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but people underestimate that, and they think, the first week of training or 2 weeks of training, month of training, I got a lot stronger.
Yeah.
No, you're literally that much stronger, but you became better at the movement. You became more skilled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also people understand how long that happens, how long it goes on. Because I see people that are more into powerlifting, powerlifting coaches and such on, say, that happens for the first two months, maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
And they think that happens for 2 or 3 months. But you know what? It doesn't happen for 2 or 3 months only. It happens for years. They understand how long it takes to get to your peak neural efficiency for lifts.
Yeah.
It's happening for up to 10 years.
Well, I think you're right that it certainly is going to happen longer in weightlifting than it is powerlifting, because the movements are more complicated, and you can almost carry along the continuum and look at darts or pool, and say that the only driver of progress is further neural adaptation. That's all there is to improve on when you're playing darts or something. And then you've got weightlifting in the middle where it plays a huge part in their strength, and there's powerlifting where it plays much, much less of a part and it's almost entirely strength.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. I just think that, people, like I said, they just underestimate how much that goes on and estimate how long it goes on. And, to say that you have ended the neural adaptation phase after 6 months or after a year, even 2 years, vastly underestimates how much skill it requires to be a top level lifter.
Yeah.
The neural learning goes on and on and on. I think I've mentioned before on several media, I think.
Yeah.
Guys like Travis Cooper who were continuing to gain new skill in their 11th, 12th year of lifting.
Yeah.
Continue to be able to do things they couldn't do before.
Yeah.
And change their movement patterns in ways that were better for snatching or clean jerking.
Yeah.
The things they hadn't been able to do before. I was mentioning, I think that Travis is probably one of the only lifters that I have found or coached that was able to do the double knee bend purely by lowering the hips.
Right. Yeah.
So he was able to have the hips go down,
but
not forward when he pushed the knees forward. He's very good at that.
Okay, I see what you mean.
He did not have the ability to do that when he was in his 10th year of lifting.
Right.
he gained that skill somewhere after the 10th year, somewhere in like 12th year,
Mm.
And so that's a big skill, that's a big skill. And
It's
I will,
interesting. Yeah. It's interesting for me to think that, because I guess I get carried away sometimes in thinking that I have my base of knowledge of how to move, and I feel like I know there's so much more to learn, but I feel like I basically have the understanding of the movements down. And then I hear you say something like that, and that's a battle that Travis Cooper's focusing on in his 12th year, and that's something that I hadn't even considered as something to think about. And then that makes me then think, how many of those things are out there that are so niche that these three-time Olympians are thinking about, that I will never even consider for another however many years until I'm in a situation where that is, something that's happening.
but that's what makes weightlifting so cool of a sport. There's so much
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Such a deep sport.
Yeah.
Learning it is so involved.
Yeah. I mean, what was that quote that you had up on your Instagram today? It was like some guy that you were quoting that said, "I can tell you everything you need to know about weightlifting in 10 minutes, but it will take you, it'll take you 10 years to understand it." Yeah.
Right. That is one of my favorite quotes of all time. I actually got that quote from Gary Valentine.
Right.
He was a person that was coached by Joe Mills.
Uh-huh.
Probably the 80s. Joe coached Bednarski.
Uh-huh.
In the 70s, I believe. Other very famous and very well-known and very great lifters from the United States in the 60s and 70s.
Uh-huh.
And he was a very good coach.
Yeah.
I think that he kind of discovered, at least in the U.S., he was one of the first ones to coach the double knee bend. A lot of things that we kind of take for granted on how to move the body to do a max snatch.
Yeah.
First one in the U.S. to come up with and kind of codify, that type of movement pattern.
Yeah.
Great coach. Coach. Anybody that's coaching nowadays has learned a ton from Joe Mills, even if you don't know it.
Yeah.
Sport has progressed in the U.S. because of Joe, and that's a huge part of it,
Yeah.
And so I love to bring up things that I never knew Joe Mills. I didn't at all.
Uh-huh.
But I love to find things that he said from guys like Gary Valentine, who was a lifter, a master's lifter, who was actually coached by Joe. These little nuggets of information that are slightly different way of thinking about it, slightly different way of presenting it.
Yeah.
People don't think of it anymore. They just don't think about it.
Yeah.
I think that one of the best quotes I've ever heard from Joe is that, because that really makes you think. It's not an easy quote to understand. I can say everything I know in 10 minutes, but then it takes you 10 years to understand it.
Yeah.
You don't really think about that, before you understand what it means. It's a great quote.
Yeah.
And I think that
it is. Yeah.
Dustin I don't know where he found a picture of. I'm not sure if that picture's of Joe or if it's of someone that's old. I
think
wish
it's
I knew
Joe.
that.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
But it's a great picture and it's a great quote, and so I'm happy to put it up. It's great.
Yeah. It's interesting because I take for granted that
I'm gonna have to tell Dustin to put up the any exercise that's perfectly safe is probably also perfectly useless.
Well, I was going to say during the podcast, I was going to say out loud, Dustin, that's for you.
Yeah, Dustin, put that up.
Yeah, I know he's listening.
That's a good quote. That's a quote I like because, and it doesn't mean we're all trying to get hurt.
No.
But it means that, what? If you're going to be really good, there's a chance.
Yeah.
You can't deny that chance. There's a possibility of bad things happening.
Yeah. But there is with anything good. There are people who will never go surfing because they think surfing is dangerous. But the people who surf are happy to take the risk because it's such an amazing feeling. And I'm sure, that's what weightlifting is.
Right. Definitely.
It's worth taking the risk most of the time. Yeah. Glenn, we're coming up on the hour, but there is still something I want to talk about, or at least mention briefly to you, because I imagine this is one of your least enjoyable things, which I'm about to partake on. This will be my first ever year where I stay up to watch the Super Bowl, because it is happening in a few hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. But the thing is, it's late.
I don't even know
here.
if it's on.
Yeah, it's on.
I don't even know when it's on.
Yeah. It starts in 5 hours, which will be 11 p.m. in the UK. And I don't know how long a football game lasts, but I hear it's a long time, like maybe 4 hours. Is that about right?
I was going to say 2, but it could be
Oh,
4.
oh, I hope it's not. I hope it's more like 2. So yeah, I'm
It
gonna be
won't
up
be.
late tonight, which is annoying because I, I love starting my week off with an early wake up. But I'm meeting up with some guys who train at the gym. So one of them used to be a professional. I think there's a Canadian American Football League. Is that what it's called? Or
It's
Canadian
called
Football League?
Canadian Football League, I
Yeah.
think.
He played in that for a long time, so he's an amazing athlete. So I'm meeting up with him. So our understanding of the sport is going to be incredibly different. Um,
Right.
but I'll just talk about weightlifting whilst I'm watching it and amuse myself in that
Well, I'm
sense.
a Patriots fan, so let's go Patriots.
You are a Patriots fan? Oh,
No, I wouldn't say I'm a fan so much as I if I had to root for someone, I'd probably root for them.
yeah. Well, I think I'm
Actually,
gonna. Yeah.
and when I was young, I was a Steelers fan because the sole reason that when I was like in third or fourth grade, a big thing was every team had certain colors, and they sold pencils with the team colors in our grade school.
Right.
So I thought that the Steelers colors, black and gold, were really
Mm.
cool.
Yeah.
So I'm a Steelers fan.
Ah.
So but I think that the Patriots, if I had to root for somebody, I'd root for Patriots
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Not really a fan because I'm a football fan, but I'd
Yeah.
root for them probably opposed to someone else.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do that, and I hope I enjoy it. I'm sure I will. I know that it's a very stop-starty game, which I'm a little bit worried about because my attention span isn't great. But I'm gonna drink a root beer to feel American, and I'm gonna eat nachos and order a pizza. So I'm gonna try and do the whole American thing with it.
You should be eating. You should be for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Um, I several times in the past have made the nachos that have rotella or some kind of basically like picante sauce in them,
Right.
and meat also, like hamburger
Yeah.
and rotella in the cheese sauce.
Mm.
Uh, I've done it in the past. I probably won't this time, but
Yeah.
past.
Yeah. On the topic of food, very quickly, have you been drinking any tea since I left?
I have several times.
Uh huh.
Not as much as coffee,
I feel
but I
like
have.
yeah, several is a very non-committal
Well,
number.
let's say more than 5, less than 100.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
'Cause
100 cups since the
less,
camp would be
yeah, no,
British
less
level.
less than 20,
Okay.
more than 5, more than 3 or 4.
Okay.
Less
Okay.
than.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how many people I've actually had message me from who listen to the show and they say I've heard you talk about tea so much, and they send me a picture of a box of Tetley tea that they bought from Walmart or something, and they're going to do it for the first time. And
And then you have to tell them that Tetley tea is not real tea.
it's not well, no, it's not bad. Tetley tea in the UK is really good, but the American Tetley tea just isn't. It's just not British tea. It's not quite there.
Right.
It's not bad, but I mean we have better tea than Tetley here as well. But it's one of our staples. Um,
Right.
but it's fun. Like I literally find myself walking people through the process of how to make the perfect cup of tea. I am going to have to make some kind of weightlifting house tea product one day that goes out to Americans to, I don't know, give them a real cup of tea or something. I'm going to do the whole caffeine and kilos thing, but with tea.
How would you find out where they could get that tea?
I
You
don't
can't
know.
like export it, because
Yeah.
where do you buy good tea in America?
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I could maybe even just have it done here and send it to America and have it exported from there. I guess. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seriously considered this, if I'm honest. I just thought it was a nice idea. Something for
It's a
down the
good.
line. Yeah.
It is a good idea.
Yeah. We shall see. Anyway, Glenn, do you want to talk about anything more? Because it's coming up. Well, we're over an hour now, and I'm aware that in 5 minutes I'm supposed to be doing something.
Well, I'm fine. Do what you have to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Over an hour, we're good.
Yeah.
We
So
talk about everything we want to do.
yeah, I mean, so I think the takeaways from today are positions, speed and tempo, positions, tempo and rhythm, then speed and then strength. But above all,
Yes.
strength is the greatest driver of progress for a natural
Yes.
weightlifter, and it will
Yep.
always be the quest upon which we stride. That was very nicely said. I'm very pleased with myself there. Guys, thanks once again for tuning in. Remember, if you want a YB Normal t-shirt, they are now available on the website. Follow Glenn at Glenn Pendley, basically on everything. And, of course, Weightlifting House on everything. And WL_house for Snapchat and Twitter. Thanks once again for tuning in, and we shall speak to you all next time.